when you get on, just they can hear us. We already don't put it on here. Y'all,
Okay.
I'm trying to find part one, y'all. If I don't find it,
Yeah.
he is
Okay.
a wrestling promoter for all Caribbean wrestling.
Excellent.
Mr. Samuel, Mr. Akil Samuel. That'll give y'all a good opportunity to go check him out anyway for yourself.
Yeah, because he's doing like it's very educational of what he's got going on. And I feel like everybody should support this
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
because
So if I don't
it's
find part one, go ahead, follow Mark. If I don't find part one, y'all definitely please do your own due diligence and look this man up and what he doing for the coach.
yes. Okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
well,
Mark.
welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Welcome back, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
cause
hopefully
I
this is part two of the interview.
Yes, sir. Part
yeah,
two,
yeah,
Mr. Samuel.
yeah,
I'm trying
and
to
and
find part
and
one. I know you heard me.
and and
Yeah,
and the
man.
way
When I logged it was recording.
Yes, sir. Huh? What was
When
and
I
the
what
thing
logged
was
is,
in, it said it was
okay, you
recording.
got it. Okay.
okay. No, the converting part from the first video we did. We'll be good though. That's we was just doing the part two.
Yeah, yeah.
You was telling us about the seminars and stuff that you guys had leading
Mhm.
up to everything. So that's where we left off from.
Right. So yes, we're talking about the seminar and as much as the culture pleasing and ties into everything.
You're right.
Um, right. So from a cultural aspect, the music, the food, it plays a tremendous part into anything. Because remember, I'm on for the second seminar, because we did three seminars actually. The first ever, and that's the first time on the island in the history of Trinidad and Tobago
Wow.
and pro wrestling that anything was ever done like that. Number for the seminar was 3 day seminar, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were doing introduction to pro wrestling in ring. We were doing production training as well as commentary training. So, and all of this was leading up to the show. And then one morning I was having breakfast with MJ, and MJ is a foodie. MJ is a foodie.
A
Yeah, she's a foodie.
whole lot of women.
Yeah, a whole lot of women, and
A whole lot
she's
of
a
women. Yes, she is.
and I'm also saying I'm paying attention to everything. I may not say it, but I see it.
Mhm.
So I'm not looking at it, but I'm listening. And that's like it because most people will think because you are paying attention, you're just looking at with your eyes.
Right.
But I'm listening. But when she's eating, I mean, and I tell her, are you inhaling your food? Are you smelling your food before you eat it? I just like, how did you notice that? I was like, I'm hearing you. Like, only foodies do that. Yeah. So again, because it was so flavorful to her, and I remember she was drinking the coffee, and she made a face like it was so strong. Like, but I'm local, so I'm just knocking that back like it's water,
Right, right.
right? And so it was. She was like, "Oh my God, the food is so amazing, and everything of the sort." Is like, "Yep, that's how we cook down here," and that is the beauty about where they were staying as well. As much as we were doing at the hotel they were staying at was doing international dishes
Mm-hmm.
and international prep. We
Right.
cooked it the Trinidadian way. So yeah, so it was a mouthful for most persons' palates when they were tasting our foods and our snacks and stuff like that. And going back to the seminar, um, what I noticed is that persons were some persons were intimidated by what they saw. So instead of stepping back and realizing, you know what, I need to learn some more. And that is a human nature. If you are intimidated by something, you tend to voice and talk too much. And I despise that persons who talk too much and don't get the word done. you know, and they did, now the tutors, they did an excellent job. Me personally, I find us too soft on them, especially for the in-ring part. You know, because as much as I am the promoter and general manager and director of the company, or one of the directors of the company, I do not believe in overstepping boundaries and stepping on toes. Right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not a wrestler.
Right.
Right. But have you just by just watching
Right?
ever got that urge to try to get into that ring, take a few bumps? The fan in you wanted to come out sometimes.
Yes. I am a martial artist for almost 50 years, so taking bumps and taking hits on the floor is nothing new. But I tried it for the third seminar, and I was having trouble executing basic moves, not because I was incapable, but because of my martial arts background. And I've gotten so accustomed to doing certain things a certain way, my body automatically reacts to the martial arts training and not the wrestling training. So as simple as a back bump, or your back bump in wrestling, we would call that a backward break fall. It's similar, but some differences exist. So, for example, with a back bump, you would pick your feet up off the ground.
Okay.
But with us, we keep our feet on the ground. So when I was going for the back bump, I was going full martial arts mode. And then I remember, nope, halfway down, I was like, nope, this is not how you do it. And I tried to catch myself mid-air. And I ended up making a mistake. I was like, you know what? I am where I'm needed.
Right.
I am where I'm needed.
Hey, you just described my first couple minutes of training, and I said, you know what? This is not what I thought it was gonna be. So, okay, let me just stay being a fan and a commentator or something like that. But I give more respect to those guys that are actually doing it, and then for them to do it on a regular basis, continuously.
Exactly.
Come on, that's dedication,
That's
man.
amazing.
And then
That's amazing.
it make a good team because you coming from the business world with the whole thing, so you understand when it comes to employees, you know what I'm saying, not being a slum business owner and stuff like that. So just adding that ingredient onto, with the promoters like JB and the rest of the other guys that you're dealing with now, it's only a room for success, man. And everything's happening organically for you guys as it is, as you see. The same setup how you said you and JB you talked online for like you said it was about a year, right? That's the same thing with me and Marlon. Marlon, it was what, 2 years we was talking about doing this, and then all of a sudden like, man, let's do this, man. Let's just do it, because if we don't do it, it ain't gonna never happen. So
exactly, it will never happen. Because initially what I was telling JB is that how I imagined this happening, and I told Reggie as well. I was expecting everything to start in 2023.
Got you.
Right.
Probably start the promotion officially in 2024.
Right.
I was looking at. And JB's like, nah, we starting that this year. I was like, all right, let's go. They tell me twice. I was like, all right, let's go. We're going to create this stuff. Because, I was not thinking 2022 at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How the COVID restrictions and everything was going, I was like, we're not going back into full mode probably in about 2023. I'm being honest. I was expecting us to still be in lockdown with COVID restrictions.
Okay.
But thankfully, God's blessings rain upon us as we made it happen. In 6 short months, we did 3 shows and 3 training seminars. The first ever company to ever do it on Trinidad and Tobago, and the first ever company to do it in the entire Caribbean.
Y'all hear that, man?
And
y'all hear that?
Yeah, and I love like how you let the wrestlers really represent their country, because compared to what we see on TV, you got guys playing island guys who is full-blooded American, man. Come on. my first example was, I'm an old time wrestling fan. They had Tony Atlas turn himself into an African. It's like we didn't know he was just Mr. USA. And we supposed to and we supposed to believe now Mr. USA has gone to be a full African. What they Saba Simba, Kofi Kingston. We had us believing he was Jamaican.
Yeah, he was Jamaican. And I was like, oh my God.
When you could have used somebody for real. That's really
like
from
a
the
real
culture.
Jamaican. You know, that got a lot of charisma.
Yeah, so another thing they laugh at me, some of the wrestlers laugh at me about is that well, MJ cracks up on this when I talk about is that they do this generic Caribbean accent or Jamaican accent that is so far off of the original thing. And I'd be like, people actually believe that this person is some perfect example of that. Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, the crab.
Okay.
Right. He is a Trinbagonian. The voice actor for that is Trinbagonian. It's from Trinidad and Tobago. But they casted it for a Jamaican accent. But that's not a Jamaican accent.
Right.
Really?
Ariel, your father is looking for you. It's not a Jamaican accent. And it so happened that even in error, they liked it so much they kept it.
Right.
Right? And yeah, as you rightfully say, if you're doing something from the Caribbean, either pick somebody from the Caribbean or someone who has Caribbean roots attached to them.
I don't understand why they do that, man.
Why they do that? So again, for our roster, Malik represents St. Lucia, but he is actually from St. Lucia. You know, he has family from St. Lucia. JTG, Trinidad and Tobago. His parents and grandparents has lineage here in Trinidad and Tobago, and he actually has family that he visited while he was down here, right? And even when he's around me, that I hear the little Trinidadian, the Trinbagonian accent coming out in it.
You feel at home.
Yeah, right. When he's home, I was hearing it as I asked him, I was like, yeah, boy, you ain't touch down here a good 3 hours and I hear any Trinbagonian accent and he just laughs. He's like, yeah, when he's around Trinbagonians, the accent naturally comes out. And that is naturally for those who they speak with the American accent, but as lineage attached to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when this rapper, what's his name? Jadarian. When he's around Nigerians, you begin to hear his Nigerian accent come out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have another guy who's in Texas called Trinidad. He actually born and grew up there. He just resides in Texas now. He was there for the first show. Reggie represents Haiti. Haitian roots are strong. La Rosa from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rican roots are strong.
Energy La Rosa.
I think she needs Jocelyn. She has DR roots, Dominican Republic roots, Jamaican, and Trinbagonian roots. Right? So you have guys that have Jamaican roots, Puerto Rican roots, Bahamian roots. And in doing this, a lot of our wrestlers who have Caribbean roots are reaching out. So those who have roots in Guyana.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to spread.
Belize, Cuba, they're reaching out. You know, because something like this has never been done.
You guys are new pioneers, man. New pioneers.
Yeah, the Caribbean has never been represented in this way in the realm of pro wrestling. The closest to that would be the Colon brothers and the Colon family, Carlos Colon, Carlito, Epico, and Primo, and these guys. That's the closest you'd have gotten on the international stage. As most people, when JTG was at WWE with Crime Time, most people would not have known that he's from the Caribbean. Chad Gaspard, rest his soul. Chad Gaspard, rest his soul. I believe he has Haitian roots.
He got Haitian
If
roots.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Haitian. He's
he
Haitian.
has Haitian roots, right? So again, that Caribbean connection came there probably knowingly or unknowingly, right? There are guys. Yes, I think there's a guy named Action Braxton. I think it's Action
Oh yeah,
Braxton.
I know him. I know him.
Right.
I know him.
From Trinidad and Tobago. He has roots in Trinidad and Tobago. MJ Jenkins, she has roots in Antigua and Barbuda. Leo Rush, he has roots in Antigua and Barbuda as well.
Really?
Yeah, a female wrestler by the name of Razor. Yes, Razor. I think she wrestles on WoW.
Okay.
I believe she has St. Lucian roots as well. A guy from Belize reached out to us. We have had people from Africa reaching out to us as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
and see, at the point you don't even have to go look; it's coming to you, and you just
Coming
have
to
to
you.
just pick what you need.
Yeah, and as you speaking all this talent, it's just so much talent representing of us as blacks culture that we just can't. Why is this? Why do you feel it's so hard that we not getting our chance to really explore the wrestling world? Like what's going on? Like we just as talented as anybody else.
But that's the whole point of the All Caribbean. They gonna show it.
That's one of the reasons what this is there. Because if I have to lead the charge in understanding and doing that,
okay.
In doing that, I have no problem with it. This is not just something for black persons, but this is something that everybody could be part of.
Yeah.
You know,
yes,
it is a representation of black people, but there are East Indian persons in my country as well, and they don't get represented well on the world stage.
Right.
You'll have the likes of the great Kali and stuff like that, but that's India. But East Indians that live outside of India and live in the Caribbean, there's not a representation for them. That's what we want to do. The non-speaking English Caribbean countries, we are representing that. So when you see different companies now arising and doing black wrestling and black companies arising and stuff like that, you begin to notice that it comes down to your belief system. If your belief system is corrupted and you do not take the time to really fix the virus, because it is a virus, let no one forget, it is a virus. The corruption of your belief system is a virus. And
I know you're going at it, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and to fix that virus is to understand your history.
Yeah.
We do not have a direct line or a direct attachment. We have knowledge of our history, but we don't have understanding of our history for the most part. And knowledge and understanding is two different things.
It sure is.
Knowledge is the idea, understanding is the application.
Yes.
Right? So it's not just about receiving an education, but being educated in your belief system. I'm not saying not to integrate and be wise about what you do, but you need to fix your belief system, and the understanding of fixing your belief system, you will begin to appreciate yourself as an individual before you automatically appreciate the collective. Yes, it is right to disagree with anything. It is right to disagree. And I do not fault persons who do not have an attachment to their history of their ancestry through slavery and Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you really do not know where you came from.
Right.
Your bloodline came from Africa. That's all.
Right.
What part? But that is the beauty of it in itself.
But see, the
There's
thing
so
is,
much room to learn
it
and
is,
be
man.
better.
It is,
So
and
be better. The information is there.
it is, and to speak
Be
on
better.
that, to speak on that, that's really the truth of what you're saying. But just to speak on that, majority, I won't say all, but most are starting to come around and take advantage of the resources that they have. And because I mean, even though you seek the information, there's so many different lanes of information, you can get caught up just trying to seek the information. So that's what I'm saying. When you researching for that stuff, you just gotta use common sense and be pure at heart and just have an open mind and understanding on, you know what I'm saying, what it is. Because the upbringing in the raising here in America is definitely different from what it would be from an island or a Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Because we have stuff handed to us as opposed to us going to seek and look for it. I know exactly where you're going at with it. And the majority of the people just are okay with the information given instead of going to seek out. I'm one of the ones that go seek out. So when you started talking about that, I knew exactly what you was talking about. And I could definitely understand that because that's where you bump heads at when you think that when you think that's when you messed up because you don't know. And the more the more you don't know. So
Yeah.
that's
So
big that you
sometimes,
speak on that.
yeah, sometimes just put the ego aside. Put the ego aside and learn. And
Yes,
one of the first things about fixing your belief system is understanding there are two kinds of people in the world. There are
Yes.
good people
And
and
bad.
there are bad people. As much as if you want to see the excellence and the rise of black people, you have to understand some black people in this world are not for you.
Man,
And
some
unless
people
you're
in your
too,
family, Mr. Samuel, ain't for you.
man, the ones who close to you and know more than you about you.
But see, speaking on this
yeah.
goes back to what you just said. If we are all on one accord, you really don't run into all those type of issues within the family because the family understand the morals and the coat of arms of your family heritage and culture. So you don't have them bump ins unless it's just, little petty stuff that may escalate to something different. But as far as the mindset, the hate on one another or the do bad towards one another is not there. You know what I'm saying? So I can agree and disagree with that because, like I said, I know quite a few people that go and try to get the information, and then you have some people that's too informed. So it's just like when you run into somebody that I see we on the same wavelength. If you think all right, okay, you know it, you got it, okay, moving right along.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, and that is fine. Just hold on a minute. Let me get my phone battery here.
So yeah, just
Right. So, and that is fine in the business of pro wrestling or business in general. There are things that you are going to agree with, and disagreements will happen. But always be respectful.
Exactly.
Within your territories, and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
And don't take things for granted, and sometimes don't take things too seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Just
try to take yourself too seriously, you'll disappoint yourself and you'll end up making more enemies than making friends.
That's absolutely right. And you just got to understand everybody has a story and you got to be open-minded and you just can't think that your story is the only story in the world. Point blank, that's a great topic, Mr. Samuel, you brought up because that really needed to be addressed when we're trying to put together stuff like this for the culture. When we say the culture, we talking about just in general, no matter where you from, just the culture in general. But let me ask you, how many belts you guys are going to plan on having? I know you got the heavyweight championship belt. Is you got anything else? And what do you got came up in the names for yet?
I love that belt.
Oh, it's so beautiful, man. It's
I
beautiful.
love just what that belt is.
It's nice. It really is.
It is awesome.
Yeah. Throw ideal out there. Sell a couple replica belts of it. Because I lie, when Reggie showed me the belt, when Reggie showed me the belt, I fell in love with it.
Yeah, man, it's nice, man.
I was like, hey, look, Reggie, man, listen. Let's do a match. I think I got one match with me, and I challenge for the belt. I mean, it can be a squash. It can be a squash match, but I steal the belt from you and you take it. But I just want to I just want a piece of it, you know, because I just like
man,
fell in love with it.
It's beautiful, man. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, so shout out to Reggie Rhythm, the second champion of ECW and the first official Caribbean champion
Okay.
and the first ever Haitian champion for the company.
Okay, good job, yes.
Right? So yeah, it's amazing. Now I'm jealous. When I saw the female title, I was like, yo, I want to switch. You know, of course, well, you know, Miss Jillian Figures, she kicked. I was like, no, that's not happening. So other titles, we may do the unofficial ECW Tag Team Championship. So that's the only other title we have on board online as it stands right now. When will debut it, we are not sure. It could be for the next show or it could be later on. We don't have a heavy tag team roster division of the company yet. As I said, we're only around for 6 months now. But nonetheless, the roster is stacked.
Gotcha.
The roster is stacked.
Yeah, it is.
You know, because we had Top Dollar with us. Top Dollar was our first champion ever. From Hit Row on WWE. That was our first champion.
Yep.
You know? And we had so much plans, man. I was like, so much plans. I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And we're going to do that. Triple H called.
So what about how is like the country with the intergender wrestling? Because I know like certain parts of the country be like, no men against women, no men against women. But right now that is like the norm right now.
Yeah, I do know of it. Me specifically, because I am a martial artist and a fighter in real, even if I also do stunt and fight choreography as well.
Okay.
If I am seeing that, I have no problem with a male fighting against a female, but it must be something believable.
There you go.
Exactly.
It must be
the image gotta make sense. The size. Yeah.
Whether it's two males or two females fighting against each other, it must make sense. You don't want to see that somebody like Rey Mysterio hit Great Khali a chop on his chest and then he flew out the ring. That makes no sense.
Right.
So for me, intergender matches, I would prefer me personally, as a promoter and a fan, I would prefer to see an intergender tag team match.
Gotcha.
Right? Not just with the men fighting the men or the women fighting the woman, but my dream of that, to make it really exciting, what I would do, just throwing this out there, I would make a tornado intergender tag team match where instead of, I don't want to see a male wrestler female, but I would love to see a good male-female spot in a show. Okay. Right? So like, for instance, a male is on the top rope, the female jumps up, it's in a hurricane, it's in a Frankenstein from the top rope, sends him to a table, crowd goes right.
Right.
Because again, if it comes down to too much wrestling, it begins to look unbelievable. Not for everybody. So for example, Jocelyn hits like a train.
Oof. Yeah.
Again, Jocelyn hits like a train. So if I'm booking someone with Jocelyn, a perfect person if it's a male and she's doing a wrestling match, I would prefer an intergender street fight match or intergender brawl match. That would be more exciting and more believable, and you would get the audience into it more.
Right.
So she can use weapons every once in a while as opposed to trying to do moves and stuff all the time. Gotcha. Right. So you ain't looking for a body slam as if you can hit her with a kendo stick.
Because if you hit her with that candlestick, it will be totally split. It have persons who are going to cheer for you, and then there are going to people who are going to boo the hell out of you.
Right.
So if I am doing that, I want the crowd to be so angry at me that you want to leave your seat and come into the ring. Not that I'm telling you to come leave your seat. But if you leave your seat and come into the ring, whatever you get, you get.
Right. Just be well that. Just know that.
Don't be out. I still find that. Don't let the excitement get the better of you. Yeah. If you run into the ring and the wrestler floors you, you look for that. Right? So in that out, she picks him up and sends him to a table and picks. Yeah, so a brawl match for an intergender, for me personally, I think that makes more sense than a straight up wrestling match. Unless it's a straight up wrestling match, I would prefer to see two luchadors do that. Let's say a female luchador who's an extremely good high flyer, and someone who's a very good high flyer as well.
With amazing cardio.
With amazing cardio, both parties similar in height and similar in stature. That will work.
Yeah.
Excellent. That would be off the chain.
Yeah, I can see that.
Me, with somebody like me fighting a 140-pound woman.
You're a domestic abuser.
Ain't no way, unless I looking to draw real heat, and I don't think most companies would not do that, to just let a man go into the ring and beat down a naturally diminutive athlete, it will not sell. Because after a while, people are going to get uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. And
it could hurt your business more than anything.
Yeah.
It could hurt you. So
yeah, it's a bad taste.
Intergender matches, I know a lot of companies having male fight females they tend to lean away from it a lot, because a man injuring a man is one thing, a female injuring a female is one thing. But if a man injures a female, even if it's not on purpose or an accident, that send a very bad look to the company. So I know it's basically safety, one, and the emotion of fans as a second.
The morals too. The morals of the emotional a family setting.
And then I don't think no man wants to hear like, "Hey man, this woman injured me." That wouldn't come off like, "Hey man, she injured me." You like, bro, really? Are you serious? This woman injured you? Like,
it can happen.
I mean, it can happen.
This diminutive 135-pound woman injured a 265-pound man, as you trying to tell me?
Ain't nothing you gonna do unless you gonna pick up something.
So
and still even then.
Most men, if that happens to them, if they get injured, they're gonna hold that. Are you injured? No. Not injured. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Mr. Samuel, I'm good,
man. I'm good. I just had a mistake at home, man. You don't want that to get out that the woman injured you.
No man is gonna put that out. So intergender matches has a space, but for me personally, I believe it has to be designed well. Once it's designed well with good spots, it will do extremely well. But it has to be designed with good spots and two people who are, one, safe, and two, can really work the emotion of the audience.
Exactly.
It has to be believable. Because if the two individuals in the ring don't believe it, it will not transition to the audience at all. And this is Trinidad and Tobago, and I could tell you, if we don't like something, we are going to tell you. We're not going to wait.
Ooh, that's the best way.
That's the best way.
You're not just going to hear boo. We are going to tell you, listen to me. I do not like what you are doing. Get out of the ring.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how you know. Yeah. You can ask. If you could do your research and find out with certain artists who came and performed down here, internationally acclaimed artists, will be known. If we don't like that, we're not impressed. Man, but get off the stage, Not yeah. And that's a Caribbean thing. That's not just a Trinidad. No, we are one of the worst with it. But that's a Caribbean thing. If we do not care, you see, we do not care who you are. If we do not like you, two things we will do. We'll either stand and fold our arms and watch it straight in your face. I'm not enjoying this at all. Get off. And we'll just shake our heads.
Just shake it. I'm more of the shake your head person, like, nah, bro.
And
this ain't you don't have it. Like, I mean, you don't have it. Like,
we are not going to do it subtly at all. We're going to let you know by our body posture and facial expression, we are not enjoying what you are doing. And you will get total, like, you can actually hear a pin drop. That's how silent we would get with you.
So has that ever happened so far where, you know, two guys have been performing and they lost the crowd, but as the match went on, they was able to bring the crowd back?
No, not for us.
Not for us, okay.
This is where I give JB kudos for, because he has worked with Caribbean territories and Caribbean islands as well. And as much as he educates me, I educate him about the culture as well. And he listens and he takes the advice, and he always builds the matches
based off the advice.
How to put on based on the advice and the card and stuff like
that. Great teamwork.
Any show that you're doing in a wrestling show, you must always start with an energy match. Whether it's 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long, your first match has to be a high-paced match, because you need to pick that audience up.
Yeah, that's going to set the tone for the night.
Exactly. And again, Malik and Snoop, for our first show, was the first match. And from there, when we asked fans what was one of their best matches for the show, that match was always either first or in the top 3. Malik's match, the first show. Yeah, so that's it. And I'm not saying I'm versed at what I do now, but I have an idea, and I'm always willing to learn more about the business.
And that's all it takes, man.
So any promoter out there, whether you have 6 months, 6 years, or 16 years, your first match always has to be a high-paced match. It doesn't have to be long,
but high-paced.
Must be high-paced, high energy. 5 to 7 minutes, get the crowd off their feet,
and go from there. Mr. Samuel,
go ahead.
That's my bad to cut you off, because we under a minute, and I want to make sure I get this in. Listen, what we do is we gave you the that's what we do. We give you the platform for it to be yours. But what we also do is we put all your social media outlet links, your stunts, everything you got going on. I want to be able to put that in the description for this video, so people can be able to go follow you. They can be able to look you up, see your history coming from the business world, getting into the wrestling world, teaming up, getting the all Caribbean wrestling going, all your accomplishments. We just want to give you your flowers right now, and thank you for what you're doing. Definitely, we want you to keep you encouraged, because I know